See, whenever you will be learning biology, you have to relate to your surroundings and not just the theory part. Okay, so here the story begins. So in several parts of India, particularly I'm stating the states like Odisha, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Assam, and Chhattisgarh. The elephants, they are often enter farms and villages. This is quite often, and you must have heard in news channels that someday the elephants have entered the villages, the cheetahs, the leopards, all the animals, they are entering the villages and they are damaging the crops, the houses, everything. They are hurting everyone. Now, this is a one story, but what is the backstory? Why they are doing so? We have seen them hurting humans. But it is true that only the elephants are hurting humans. These animals are only hurting them. I'll tell you today what is the exact picture, what is the clear picture behind why animals do so. So, let me tell you, when vegetation is scarce, okay, when the vegetation is scarce and water holes, they dry up in the natural habitats where these elephants live. So, what happens? They may wander into the nearby farms or the plantations in search of food like bananas and sugarcane. Okay, they might wander to search for their food. Correct? Now, this can lead to crop damage and at times even harm the people and the animals. So this is the picture we always have seen. We have studied in news, TV channels. Correct? But the real story is, see, now the changes in rainfall, okay, rainfall temperature, they also affect vegetation. So not only the humans are affecting them, but the changes in rainfall and the temperature also affects the vegetation of that particular area. Now, cutting down trees. Now the humans, they cut trees for their benefits, for constructing furnitures, houses, correct? So, where are we sourcing all these woods? We are sourcing all these woods from the very natural habitat of the elephants. Not only the elephants, of the other animals which stay in jungles, in forest. Correct? Now, what happens? This leads to the drying and shrinking of forest. So, for our needs, we are cutting down the trees and we are cutting down the habitat of these animals. So, what will happen? The natural homes of these animals, they are lost. Now, because of loss of habitat, now because their home is lost, so what they will do? They will move to different areas, right, in search of food and shelter, because they also need the same as we do. Humans need the food and the shelter to survive, correct? Everyone needs that. So, they tend to move into human habitats. Now, this is the real story, okay? Humans hurting animals and in turn, animals are moving to human habitat. First, who is going to whose habitats? First, humans, they are entering, they are clearing the forests, they are harming the animals' habitats. And in return, so what you see or what you hear in news channels is actually the reaction to the action of the human activities. Now you know the correct and the clear picture. Clear, my dear students? Okay, so what do they do now? The elephants, they are adapted to forest life, but sudden changes make it hard for them to survive. Is it true or not, my dear students? Yes, it is very much true. See, even when we move from our hometown to a different city altogether where we know none of the person, it takes time to adjust, right? To the food, to the culture, to the people, to everything included, right? Similar is with animals. How that we can forget that animals also feel, only they cannot talk, but they also have emotions. They also have got the feelings. They have also got their basic needs to be fulfilled. Correct, students? Okay, now let's see. Again, so seeing to this condition, the wildlife ecologists, they have identified, okay, some of the wildlife ecologists, they have identified and marked corridors in many parts of the country. To allow the safe movement of animals. Okay, so this was the solution. Now the problem is clear. What was the problem? Now, so few the wildlife ecologists, they came up with a solution of making a corridors for the safe movement of the animals. Clear? Okay, now, these corridors, what they do? They link the forest habitats, allowing wildlife like elephants and the other animals to travel safe between the larger areas without clashing with human settlements. So a win-win situation for the jungle animals, that is the forest animals, and the humans. A win-win situation. Okay, dear students, then let's see. So now this chain of events shows how closely nature's elements are connected. Yes, we see how nature's elements are connected. Now, to understand such interconnections, we must study the different components of our environment. So, are you interested? My dear students, are you ready to know about the different components of environment? So, let's explore. Let's see. What are the different and what are the different components of our environment? Let's explore it together. So now here is where we are heading towards the exact chapter. Okay, but before that, what I've told you, I've just given you a gist. Okay, I've shared with you the story so that you can connect with the chapter. You can make a connection. You can relate to the chapter, what we are going to learn today. Clear, dear students? That was the motto behind it. Now, let's explore the different components of environment.